Hi everybody, my name is Isa and this is Moody Eye Makeup channel. Today I'm presenting you the new foundation from Catrice. I'm doing a review and try on video. This is HD matte powder foundation with SPF 15. Yeah, these are new type of foundations that are now trending and I really wanted to try this type of formula because I have very dry, sensitive, dehydrated skin and usually I'm avoiding these type of foundations, but because this is a drugstore, very inexpensive, I wanted to see what all the fuss is about. This is a long-lasting powder foundation for a matte skin finish up to 18 hours, lightweight, soft melting texture with buildable medium to high coverage, sweat and transfer proof. Okay, so this is a lot of claims. Now I'm going to show you how it applies, how it looks on my skin, using different tools applying it, and then I'm going to show you how it looks also under natural light, and then after a full day of wearing it, how it works, how it lasts. So if you're interested in all that, then please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell button next to it so you can be notified when I upload. This kind of products usually don't work on me, so I'm highly skeptical about this one. My previous video was about serum foundation from Catrice that they also released like together with this one, and I loved that one, and I bought both of these in the same shade, number 10, which in serum foundation, when it oxidized, it was a little bit more yellow and darkish than my skin. This one looks like it could be lighter than my skin. We will see. In the bottom, you get quite a big mirror and a sponge. I'm going to use Glow Serum Primer from Essence just because I really like this primer and I feel it can work better underneath this foundation. I mean, in a sense that I need all the help that I can get. I've applied a little bit of color corrector around my eyes and I've done my brows. I don't have any concealer or anything else on. You can probably see. I'm going to start with this sponge because it came with this foundation. So you can right away see that it is a little bit lighter. So this is very interesting because this is exactly the same shade that I bought serum foundation in as well, and that was darker than my skin. So this is one thing to know. This sponge is quite good, like for if you're out and about, this sponge will do the trick. Don't throw it away. This is medium to high coverage, which is, I always like when you get what they claim, because I really hate when brands claim some stuff that are not true. Now I'm gonna use this puff to see how it's going to apply with the puff. I mean, for me the puff it's easier just because it's more soft, it's easier to bend, you have this thing on, but either way you pretty much get the same result. So what I'm very interested about is what happens when you use concealer on top of powder, or cream blush or cream bronzer. I mean, on one side I'm going to do that, on the other I'm going to use powder, just so we can compare. So I came just a little bit closer so you can see how it looks. Of course it looks very matte because it's a matte powder foundation, and it depends on you if you like this look. I'm more for dewy, healthy looking skin because my skin is already dry, and you know, when you have dry skin you want very dewy skin, when you have oily skin you want very matte skin. I think the result is pretty good, but it is heavy. It looks heavy on me. for sure. So if you have oily skin, then your oils will come through a little bit, and then it won't look so dry and so heavy. If you have dry skin, I mean, that's inevitable, you know. It looks heavier, it looks drier. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm gonna use a brush. See, I'm not sure even which brush to use for this type of foundation. First, I'm just using this brush, which is not very dense, so you get a lighter layer, and that means that it's not that high coverage. So you can manipulate this foundation depending on which brush you use. If you use sponge or this type of puffs, then you will get the full coverage, you know. But if you don't want that for every day, you can just use a little bit softer brush. So you can probably see that this is much more like covered, more even toned than this side. Now I'm gonna use my round Sigma Kabuki brush that I like to use with very serumy type of foundations usually. Yeah, and this works more as a puff or a sponge when you get a full coverage. Now let's try to use concealer on top, and we will see what will happen, if it's going to turn into a paste. So maybe it would be better to use concealer before using this foundation, not after, because, you know, it depends on person when you use your concealer. I like to use it after foundation, always. I mean, I don't see any weird behavior mixing these two together. That worked, actually. I'm quite surprised. Okay, now let's see what's going to happen when I use cream contour and a cream blush. For that, I will use my round Kabuki brush because it's easier for me to blend out. So I'm not surprised that it's harder to blend out this cream contour. I mean, it worked. I just needed a little bit longer. And now I'm gonna use this new blush from Catrice, which is in the cream form as well. And I'm just using it on top as well. If I'm being extremely picky, it is a little bit patchy. Maybe just, but really just a little bit here. I mean, otherwise it's very interesting to see. Very matte foundation, but then with this cream blush I achieved a little bit of dewiness and softness. I like it. Okay, on my other side I'm going to use everything powder, but I'm not going to use a contour shade, but this bronzer from Catrice. And yeah, this is blending really nicely. Of course, powder on powder, it's just easier. Milani blush. I mean, I just prefer this side because I've got a little bit of dewiness going on, and I actually don't mind this matte foundation when I have this blush on. This is too matte for me. This looks, on my skin at least, a little bit too dead, if you know what I mean. Even though that this blush has this luminosity to it, it's not completely matte, but this looks way better in my opinion. On one side I'm going to use this beautiful highlighter from e.l.f. This is in the white gold. If you watched my makeup haul, new things from Catrice, this is one of them. This is all over glow tint. It's kind of like a highlighter. I'm going to top it with this Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Crystal Nebula. Okay, so I've done my makeup. I think this is quite a good foundation for going out. For me personally, because I have such a dry skin, so I wouldn't use this formula for foundation throughout the day, especially if I have like 20-hour shift. But maybe like for going out when you're sweating and stuff, this is a better way to go. For now, this is it. I'm going to show you how it looks under natural light, and then see you in a few hours to see how it wore. Okay, so you can see behind me it's my studio, and here I came to the window to see how everything looks under natural light. And you can see that it looks heavier than the serum foundation, but I've got a lot of coverage out of this foundation as well. For me, serum foundation is just an everyday, very light, beautiful foundation, and this is more of an evening full-on glam foundation. But if you have oily skin and you really like high coverage foundation, then you will probably love this one. It's not a bad foundation for a drugstore powder foundation. Let me just say that. So I'm not going to even try to look good. I mean, it's quite late at night and I have been wearing this foundation for 10 hours. And let me see. Okay, so it gathered around my nose. It looks a little bit dry and cracked in some areas around my nose. I'm just going to see how it looks if I go over. No, that's just a bad idea. That's just a bad idea. I should just take off and then reapply. I wouldn't go on top because it just builds up really badly. I mean, let me be honest here. I'm going to use it for an evening out situation, but that's it. I wouldn't recommend this foundation, especially if you have dry skin. If you have oily skin and you tried this one, then please comment down below to help others, because I cannot speak for everybody, but for people with very dry skin, this is just a no-go. I'm so sorry, Catrice. I have been impressed with your serum foundation. It's a really good one. This one is just not my cup of tea, probably because of my skin, but I wouldn't say this is a bad foundation. It's just, you know, it's a powder foundation. So please comment down below and have a lovely day, and see you in my next video. Bye.